are live on a Monday.
We're live on a Monday. Welcome to the Legends Clubhouse. I am Bobby Kaboose. As always, my boy, my partner in crime, Lawson Turner. What's going on, man?
What's going on? What's going on?
How
Last
was your
night,
weekend?
the weekend was chill. We had um, the UFC Fight Night on Saturday. We had the NBA Finals on Sunday. It was really action packed.
Dude, this happened last week, man. I don't care
What?
what happened. How was your weekend?
It was great. There was sports all weekend.
Okay, what did you do?
I I enjoyed Friday night. There was, Cena cut his pipe bomb
It's
promo. That was pretty
like,
dope. That was pretty dope. The UFC was
Hi,
not
Mike Simpak. Hi.
that shit was so funny.
Doing my Cena, right?
Yeah. Then Saturday, me and some boys we watched the UFC event. It's always interesting whenever it's not in the US because sometimes like the main event started at like 3 p.m. and then we
Right.
just jumped on the game and then Sunday we all just hung out and then we watched the game later that night and it was exciting. How was your weekend?
It was good. I had a good weekend. Had to get out of my house because it's like fucking heat wave, dude. Like I
Dog.
think this is hitting everywhere. It was like the heat index was like at 100 degrees the last couple days. We were supposed to be getting invited to someone's house to go swimming, but that never came through. So we just sat in a nice air conditioned house at my girlfriend's. And got some pizza. We played games, watched some movies. We watched fucking Jaws. We saw the very end of Jaws 2 and watched Jaws 1, and then we watched like Super Mario Brothers. We watched Ice Age, and we had a good weekend. We took some edibles. It was a good time.
A,
Yeah.
a bunch of classic movies.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it
Mm.
was. But dude, this heat is no joke, man. I came back last night to my house. I don't have fucking central air, so even the little air, the window unit was not doing much last night, man. It
Mm.
was it was I didn't get much sleep, but I had to take a fucking cold ass shower just to get the sweat off me this morning. So I am awake more than usual. My eyes are actually open this morning, but dude, we had a great, like you said, sports weekend. Starting off with the John Cena pipe bomb and ending with the game 7. So what
Mhm.
better weekend can you have than that?
100%.
Um, game 7. I was hoping that it was going to be a little closer at the end. OKC kind of started blowing them out at the end.
Mhm.
But if you want to get into that, man, the Tyrese Halliburton goes down in the first half after hitting three threes, right?
Yeah,
He
that
had
that
9 early points, looking
mhm.
like he was going to drop 40, and he just dropped.
And he just dropped. It was so like crippling as a sports fan cuz like he hurt his calf too in the first half of game 5 and we know about calf injuries. It's like when the calf is strained and weak, it leaves so much room for other, injuries, especially your Achilles to, go and stuff like that.
Hmm.
When it reminded me of in the 2019 finals when Kevin Durant missed the first handful of games of the finals with a calf strain, and then he came back in game 5 and scored. I think he scored like 15 points in 12 minutes, but then that's when he popped his Achilles. And it's like,
Yeah.
so damn. And that was the first time that I can remember when on the video you saw the Achilles pop. So now on all these replays, you see what it looks like. So like
Yeah.
when he slipped and immediately turned around to see did somebody step on my leg, that's a telltale sign it's a pop like somebody stepped on you. So he immediately
Yeah.
turned around and then when I saw him start to smack on the ground, I'm like, oh damn, he popped his Achilles. And it's crazy because that's the third popped Achilles this postseason. Damian Lillard and Jason Tatum and now Tyrese, and they all wear number 0, and it's all fucking
Wasn't
weird.
didn't John Morant get hurt too?
Yeah, he hurt his shoulder.
Okay, yeah, because that was, I guess, that was against the Thunder as well. I think
Mm-hmm.
I saw that online that the Thunder kind of just injure people.
They
Um, but
the I was gonna say the Josh shoulder, Aaron Gordon's hamstring against the Nuggets, and now but
yeah,
I don't know.
but I'm like, this is gonna sound a little cynical, But I am so glad that because when he went down, I was like, no, I was like, dude, don't give me a fucking Paul Pierce fucking wheelchair moment. All right, like I don't watch the NBA that much because it's just it's a lot of storylines and shit like that,
Hmm.
and like I would rather just watch wrestling, right?
Right.
Same with like I watch the NFL because usually I have money on it, whatever. But also like if it's going to be storyline based, I would rather just watch WWE.
Hmm.
But I was so glad, like again, not glad that he got hurt, but I'm glad that it was actually a serious injury, and not like, oh well, I'm going to go down, get in a wheelchair, come back third quarter, fourth quarter, and be the hero.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, please don't have a fucking Paul Pierce moment. And I'm glad I'm glad it wasn't. It sucks for him and sucks for the Pacers,
Hmm.
but I'm just glad it was like, okay, he's actually hurt, and
Hmm.
it's not gonna be this fucking big dramatics that he comes back from the locker room after shitting his pants like Paul Pierce did.
Yeah. It's so crazy too, cause like he hit the three early threes from deep, and his calf looked just as good as it did in Game 6. Coming off the strain that he
Hmm.
suffered in Game 5, and he was talking shit to the crowd. And the Pacers have been an excellent road team, and it almost was like this is exactly how Game 6 started against the Knicks last series. This was a Tyrese Halliburton's moment to where
Hmm.
he's been like he's been the villain on the road. You look at a couple years ago when Trae Young was like the most hated man in New York, cause
Yeah.
he's shooting dice on the logo and pulling
Hmm.
pulling up from 33, and it's like it robbed us of what could have been, because yes, the Thunder were the best team all year long. Yes, they had the MVP. Yes, they were the best defensive team and all that stuff. But through the early goings, game sevens are weird, and it seemed like both teams were a little, in quotations, shaky to start. And Tyrese having half his team's points when he went down, it's like, damn, that takes away your heartbeat of your team. Now that's not to say TJ McConnell didn't come in and was damn near single-handedly keeping him alive in the third quarter. However, by that time, when you lose that heartbeat and your best player and your floor general per se, it's going to be a real
Yeah.
uphill battle against a 68 win, juggernaut.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I'm glad that it wasn't the dramatic thing, but
Hmm.
I mean, Halliburton looked like he was gonna drop 40. I mean,
Oh, he was on
he looked
fire.
like he was taking home the Finals MVP. Like it looked like it was gonna be his game. The
Hmm.
Pacers controlled the pace at the time. What could have been, right? So
100%.
I was really hoping for, I didn't care who win. I didn't have any dog in the fight, right? But I was just hoping for a good game seven, because it seems like you either get like a classic game seven or a blowout. Like there's not
Hmm.
really much in between, and it ended up being kind of a blowout and not exciting at the end. Caruso had a nice little game for him. I'm sure SGA got the Finals MVP. I kind of turned it off after.
Yeah.
But what did he, do you know what he ended up with?
He ended with 29 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, and it's funny because he had a good stat line. However, he shot 8 for 27 from the floor, 2
Mm.
for 12 from three, and
Yeah.
made 11 of the 12 free throws.
So yeah, I mean, OKC, obviously deserved it. Like you said, they were pretty much number one throughout the season.
Hmm.
Um, do you think this is the beginning of the next dynasty?
It's really tough, and the reason why it's tough because they're so young, and we saw this team, take their lumps in previous years in the playoffs and stuff like that. However, I'm going to hold off on buying stock of the next dynasty due to the previous champions that were like, oh, they just won. They won in a dramatic slash dominant fashion, and now they're about to riddle off, another one. Winning back-to-back titles in any sport is extremely difficult. So, I mean, there's a reason why we've had 7 different champions in the past 7 years.
Yeah.
So I
No,
I, I would
I
hold
think
off
there's a
right yet.
possibility. I think there's a possibility because unlike Denver, I just think this team has more talent. Like
Yeah.
Denver's got maybe the best player in the world right now, but what does he really have other than him
Mm-hmm.
to step up? Like there's a bunch of role players and shit like this. I don't watch the Thunder that often or, at all, but it seems like they're a much more balanced team. So
Mm-hmm.
even if SGA would either leave or, you know, go down with injury or whatever the case, like I don't feel like he has to necessarily carry this team like the Joker does, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think they still have a bunch of assets from previous trades and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think they could be. But I think it's going to go back to soon the top heavy where it's maybe the Thunder, the Celtics, maybe Denver, and enter maybe the Pistons or something, an up and coming team. If
Mm-hmm.
they, man, I was really hoping that the Pistons could have landed KD somehow, but I would have
Mm-hmm.
never gave up what the Suns or the Rockets gave up to get him. Um, we can talk about that trade if you'd like.
Yeah.
Um, that kind of, I mean, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, who I can't stand, the 10th pick, which probably doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
and 5 second-round picks.
Yeah.
I know the draft picks are, a dime a dozen in the NBA, and most of them don't work out, especially in the second round. But Jesus Christ, man, you like Jalen Green was supposed to be your dude.
Yeah, with Jalen, like it's so interesting to me because I'm sure you could look it up. Jalen Green has about as many 40-point games as he does single-digit games. His athleticism alone makes his ceiling really high. However, his floor is really low for me. So it's getting out of the, oh, should we pay this player $200 million. Now it's a win now move due to, you get KD, they were the number 2 seed. You move, Jalen Green, who is 15 years younger than KD, so it's kind of a, I'm gonna mortgage a good chunk of my potential, future for this window of 1 to 2 years with KD. You move Dylan Brooks, who's a nice 3-and-D player. He's one of the classic. You love him if he's on your team. You fucking hate him if if you're going against him. The 10th pick is fluff. And the 5 second round picks is just fluff for the Suns. It's kind of a soft reset to me because they were already in a bad spot, and this move doesn't, it doesn't fix the Suns due to,
Yeah,
you still have Bradley Beal who's on a bad contract for what he is in this stage of his career. It doesn't solve any holes that the Suns needed. However, it's kind of a, it works for both teams in the short term. However, Phoenix in the long term, unless Houston wins a title in the next 2 years, and they might very well be. When you look at their roster, they have incredible length. Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr., KD, Sengun. Like they're a super long deep. They have a chance. Like they were already an elite defensive team last year. They have a chance to be another elite defensive team, and that's saying something when you lose a defensive player like Dylan Brooks.
so how many years does Kevin Durant have? Like 2 or 3 years left, right? He's like 36.
Yeah,
I
that's my
mean,
guess. Is
not-
about two or three.
players don't really thrive when they hit 40.
Mhm.
So I would guess he would have like 2 or 3 years left. So it is very short term, and just for the fact that Jalen Green was picked number 2 overall behind Cade Cunningham, and there was literally like debate, like who should go number 1, and so um now that you say that he's more of like a feast or fathom player, maybe it is a better trade, like because sticker shock when it happened. I was
Mhm.
like, what the fuck is the Rockets doing here? Like,
Mhm.
and then I looked at their lineup with KD in it, and I'm like, okay, I know Fred VanVleet or whatever the fuck his name is.
Shout out Big
Uh,
Fred.
I know the Thompson brother because the Pistons got the other one, and
Mhm.
I'm like, really? This team is gonna be better with KD than Jalen Green?
Mhm.
Okay, ball. I don't. I've been out of the NBA game for a while, so I mean, if you say it's good for the short term, I'll go
It's
with your
to rewind
analysis.
to rewind. Let's just say that for the first round when they were against the Warriors, there were long stretches where the Rockets were playing fantastic defense against the Warriors. They just couldn't score. And
Yeah.
and Durant, for the past, I think it's 13 years, he shot over 50% from the floor. Even when you look into like second level stats and stuff like that, he's still the best jump shooter in the league.
Right. Do you think there's a chance for them to bring Yao back?
I mean, never
I
say
mean,
never, right?
dude, you said length, man. They could add some more length with Yao Ming. Maybe bring Steve Francis back, Katino Mobley, some shooters around him.
Maybe T Mac. Fuck it.
Yeah, T-Mac. I mean, Houston has
That's
now
funny.
had OKC's big three at one point in their franchise history now. So,
Hmm.
they had James Harden, they had Russell Westbrook, and now they have Kevin Durant. Um, it would have been crazy if they would all been, relocated there,
It was so
and
funny.
like say like Harden had stayed there, or
Uh,
whatever. But yeah, man, if they can bring in, maybe Yao Ming, Steve Francis, Katina Mobley, Calvin Cato, and Clyde Drexler, maybe. He might be on the older side, but maybe they can win a championship.
Fuck it. I was gonna say it's so interesting too. Like with like to go from the west to the east really quick. Tatum, Achilles. Dame, Achilles. Halliburton, Achilles. Like who the fuck's gonna
Caboose,
represent?
Achilles,
Say who?
Caboose.
I don't know what we would ever do if Caboose tears his Achilles. The
Dude, that's the only reason I'm not the New Orleans Saints quarterback right now. I didn't pass my physical.
damn, and now we know.
Yeah, dude.
It's gonna be so. It's like who the fuck's gonna win the? Fuck, it might be Detroit's year next year with all the fucking injuries at the top.
But there was rumors of KD coming here because he said he wanted to. Apparently he said he wanted to play here. So I was like, okay, but I didn't want to sell the fucking farm to get him.
Hmm.
They were talking about giving up Jaden Ivey, I think Tobias Harris, a first round pick, and like probably 17 second round picks, or whatever. But I don't know. I like Jaden Ivey. I liked him in college,
Hmm.
and I would like for him and Cade to work out because I think that would be a good, 1-2 punch. But it looks like Jaden Ivey might be the guy to move because, or at least the rumors, like every rumor trade I see involves Jaden Ivey. So I'm not sure
Hmm.
if they don't think they can play together because Ivey's been hurt and they haven't really had much floor time together.
Right,
But yeah, the NBA making noise yesterday, dude.
dude.
And like I said,
It's
I
crazy.
I was gonna be the Saints quarterback. Dude, me and Marcus Colston had great chemistry, but the Achilles is acting up.
I believe it. Now, one last note on the KD thing. Did you see what the Heat refused to offer?
No.
The Heat refused to include Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, Haywood Highsmith, the number 20 pick, and or other draft assets for KD. I saw something and it was like their last.
There was there was not one player in that I know.
It's
You could
well,
have been speaking French to me.
solid role players that their last playing game by 50, and they refused to give up any of their role players to try and let's go get KD. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Like I know Tyler Hero.
It's Hero. Don't get confused of the two R's.
It's Hero. It's Tyler Hero. I
Yeah.
know Tyler Hero. I know Mario Chalmers. I don't think he's there anymore. I know Juwan Howard. I know Udonis Haslam. Which, by the way, by the way, why the fuck did they retire Udonis Haslam's number?
He's Mr. Miami Heat.
Dude, he's been on there for like 20 years. He didn't play the last like seven.
Yeah,
Like,
he was.
what are you doing?
It's Heat
He's just like,
culture.
yeah, cool.
It was so funny because
When he was a starter, like he wasn't great. He was not a Hall of Famer.
when they were projecting like what was the final offer for KD, someone said the Heat offered him culture,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's so fucking funny. Um, I want your take on this. Big wrestling guy. What'd you think on Cena's promo on Friday?
Dude, so the whole time, I was like, how long is CM Punk gonna just lay there? Like,
About as long as Cena did in 2011.
well, right, but I'm sitting there listening, and like I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, like I was telling my girl, like we're watching it, and I keep saying, I'm like in a regular match, he would have been up 10 minutes ago. Like, what is going on here? He's just laying there, and I
Yeah.
kept trying to look at his like facial expressions to see if he would like crack or break or whatever. Um, I thought it was good. I didn't realize like after they showed the replay of what happened where he hit him in the face twice with the belt. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that kind of sold that he could be down for a while. But I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, how long are you gonna lay there? But I thought it was good, man. I thought it was I think it like paid a lot of homage to the first one as far as like the the references of like Punk saying hi to Coco Cabana and Cena being like, oh, I'm breaking the fourth wall, and saying hi to Matt Cardona, Nick Nemeth, and what's his name, Claudio.
Mm-hmm.
um but I thought that was awesome. I was kind of like excited to see where it went. He swore. Oh my God, John Cena swore on TV. Um, but yeah, I thought it was good, man. I don't know if it was better than Punk's because Punk's was so like like classic and original,
Mm-hmm.
and he went really off. But I thought it was good. It was entertaining, man.
Dude,
Especially
for
with Cena's last run.
right when I wasn't watching it live. When I resaw it, I was like, "Oh fuck, he did the pipe bomb." And then I went on like TikTok like a day later, and they had it switching in
Yeah,
between both of them. I'm like, dude, that's fucking sick.
yeah,
It's so cool when like someone cuts a promo and then someone cuts like the others. It's the same promo but the whole flip side of it and just like put their own like spiel on it. It was so cool because once again that was like when the heart when I was like a wrestling fan. It's like, holy fuck, is Punk gonna like just win and take his ball and go home and with the belt? And
right.
now Cena's doing the same fucking thing where he's gonna ruin wrestling, or he's gonna just go undefeated the rest of the way and then just leave and all that jazz. I thought it was executed greatly. I thought that the second I saw like like the whole match and stuff on replay, and I saw Punk go to the table. Then I saw Cena stand on the fucking top, sit on the top rope. I'm like, oh, damn, here it comes.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. It was a great promo, man. Like it was something that I think needed to happen. Like it was like after looking, back, it's like okay, like it's obvious that they should have done that, right? Like,
Hmm.
it's one of Cena's biggest rivals of his career, CM Punk. Like, obviously everyone knows about the pipe bomb. Like it put CM Punk on the map pretty much. And you know, with Cena doing that, dude, like it was awesome. Yeah, like
Hmm.
I can't even come up with other language to use than it was awesome.
Right.
You know,
To
he
think,
had the fucking crowd like eating out of the palm of his hand, like
hmm
you know,
to think months in advance. So they already did him versus Orton one last time. They're doing him and Punk one last time, essentially. Who the fuck's gonna be like his last guy?
I don't know. And they're it looks like they're gearing towards Cody for SummerSlam, which I hope Cody doesn't win. Like I don't I think they need to have Cena have the title when his appearances are coming up.
Right.
Because then you either have like the shock value of who's gonna fucking take it, or they can spin it in so many different directions. Does he take it home and they're like, okay, well, what do we do now? And like, or like, does he, what if he takes it home and the next night on Raw, like it's like they literally open up with like an empty arena and like and just John Cena in there with the title, like nobody around, no commentators, like tape it during the middle of the day and just being like, I hope you enjoy the show because there ain't gonna be no wrestling on it or whatever,
Hmm.
and just have a break to like be like, all right, what the fuck is going on, and then you can go later or whatever, or I don't know how you would spin it, but
Yeah.
there's so many things that you could do. I'm wondering, and I think they should do this. I think Seth Rollins needs to cash in on Cena on that last appearance. Like
Right.
Cena thinks he's taking the title home. He's not. Seth Rollins comes in and cashes in, and he has possibly a bigger cash in than he did at WrestleMania. Like he could have the two biggest cash ins ever in wrestling history, right?
Mhm.
Um, ending Cena's reign and bringing wrestling back to the fans, being the Messiah again, or
I was gonna say because like that would be the role to like put him in is okay now depending upon how long him and Paul and their little clique go on like he just like you said he could be the savior of wrestling to where like the next night or the following whatever show he comes out and just be like guys I did it I saved
yeah,
and then he could spin it heel and be like I saved all of you
yeah,
and all that jazz.
yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, like Heyman could, come in and be like, doing his spiel about, how great Seth Rollins is and, you owe him and all this stuff. And then he could have a nice long title reign, especially with Braun and um, Bronson Reed,
Hmm.
uh, kind of having his back. I hope they add members to this. I hope it's just not a three-man group. I
Hmm.
hope they add a few more guys. Like I would like to have like a big stable. I like big groups. Like if you have one big dominant group, I like it. But if you have like, a bunch of four-man groups, I don't like it. Like, have a couple, right? You need a few different stables, but like have them different sizes and have them, like have one like fucking huge one, like not as big as the NWO, but like one that was as big as like the Ministry of Darkness. That had like 7, 8 guys, like
Yeah.
Undertaker's crew in the late '90s. Like have something like that. They haven't had something like that in a while.
So if you were to add a fourth person, who would it be?
Right now, to start, would probably be like a Carmelo Hayes type guy, like an intercontinental type guy or a U.S. champion type guy who might be in the main event picture soon, but someone that can like kind of grow underneath them.
Hmm.
Maybe team up with Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker at points and maybe become tag team champions with them or someone, but I would go with like a Carmelo Hayes or an Austin Theory or a Grayson Waller or someone that has potential. I don't see Grayson Waller winning that much, but I like the guy. Like I like his character. I feel like Grayson Waller would be similar to how I would be if I was a professional wrestler, right? Like um, he's because he does like the ball and shit, Like I like him. Like
Yeah.
he's got a good gimmick and a good he with the right push and the right people around him, I think he could be a super like a legit superstar too. So I would pick one of those guys, man.
Hmm.
Someone in the middle of the pack. Who do you have anyone that you would like to see, or do you want to keep them at three? Like, are you cool with what
I'm
they're at?
I'm cool how they are right now. However, I do see them adding somebody in the future, and I'm right there along with you because like when you have a group with like Heyman and Seth, those are two of like the best minds in wrestling right now. So it's like okay, you need someone else to not necessarily bring cachet, but to just bring another body per se. That's
Mhm.
why they did Braun, that's why they, did Braun Breaker with him because like, oh, he can learn under Seth and take notes from Paul and all that jazz. To where eventually, when they put him and push him up the card, he's going to, be ready and
Right.
know kind of your ins and outs and
Hmm.
mentality wise.
Right. 'Cause I don't think they need another like enforcer type guy. I
No,
think
they
they
already
need
have two of them.
right. I think they need more, unless they're just going to build like, okay, Seth is basically untouchable at this point,
Right.
But yeah, I would think that they would bring like an up and comer, someone that, like, the group is always, the veteran, the up and comer, and like a tag team. That's pretty much the formula of a good stable going back to, the Four Horsemen back in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
So you need the guy on top, you need, your guys that can your muscle, and then, a protege. But yeah, I would like to see one of those dudes in there, especially being under Paul Heyman, man. Once you're under Paul Heyman, you usually get instant credibility unless you're Curtis Axel.
Unless
So,
you're Curtis Axel.
I mean,
I
tell
mean,
me I'm wrong.
I I remember that shit. I remember that shit. I remember when they blew him up for Mr. Perfect Son,
Yeah,
and
well,
they
he is Mr. Perfect's son.
well yeah, but I'm saying that was like one of his big jackass. That was one of his like giant big things too. It's like oh he was in NXT and he's Mr. Perfect Son, and I was like
He
okay
could have
well
been he could have been Perfect Junior. Like, why didn't they just call him Perfect Junior
I think the cat would have been let out of the bag too much.
or Junior Perfect? Which one would work better? JRP, JRP, Junior Perfect,
There you go.
right?
I mean, it's better than fucking Curtis Axel.
Or
that
uh, or what was his other name? McGillicuddy?
yeah, Michael McGillicuddy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Didn't he hold like
yeah,
the
just go with
Didn't he hold like the Intercontinental title for a minute?
yeah. Yep, he did. And then he was teaming up with Cesaro, I believe, because I think Cesaro was a Heyman guy at the time.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, he should have just been JRP, Junior Perfect, or they call him Junior Perfect, right? But then he's like completely opposite. Like he can't do anything right, and he just like sucks at everything. That would be cool too. Like Mr. Perfect used to have the vignettes where like he would shoot a basketball and go in, or like
yeah.
hit mid-range shots or whatever, hit a half-court shot. He would throw a football like 70 yards and run it under it and catch it. He bowled a 300 or hit a home run or whatever. They should just have Kurt or Junior Perfect do all the opposite. Like he shoots a bucket and he like turns around to like pose and it just fucking hits back iron and hits him in the back of the head or something. Or like he throws it up and like he knocks over a cheerleading pyramid. He's on the baseball diamond, he swings and the bat just goes flying, or like knocks out the pitcher. Like
That'd
it
be
could have
so
been so
funny.
good.
Yeah.
Could have been so good. But like
The
I always thought that Ted DiBiase's son, he's
yeah.
actually in jail now. I don't know, I forget what he did, but
He
he's like
was
he's in jail
he
for a
was
while.
he was involved with like the Mississippi scam with Brett Favre.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So he
That's a great tidbit. Ted DiBiase's son. He's in jail right now.
yeah, but I always thought they could have did him like as like the $1 million son and
Yeah.
like literally like just took his gimmick and
I mean, they
like
kind of did for a little bit because he had a $1 million title, not to the extent, but he was just
right. So like they should have really pushed that, like as far as like being like a spoiled kid born with a silver spoon in his mouth,
mhm.
and being able to like elevate into at least the better than what he did and not go to jail. So maybe if he was the $1 million son, then he wouldn't had to have any kind of Brett Favre scandal.
I was about to say,
You know?
for $1 million son, I didn't think you didn't need to be hurting for money to scam the poorest state in the country.
Exactly.
Yeah, what a crazy like for even Brett Favre to be like involved with that shit. This shit was still just crazy when all that shit was coming out.
Yeah. So dude, we got I know you're from the terrible state of Georgia. I'm just kidding. The beautiful state of Georgia. And do you know what your state's nickname is?
The Peach State.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Peach State. I knew you would know that. We got some peaches from Georgia yesterday. Like straight from Georgia.
Wow.
And there's this company that will obviously it's the peach state, so you guys have a lot of peaches down there, but
Hmm.
they'll freeze them and send them out, and you can get it. They bring them by the truckload, and they'll text you and they'll be like, hey, you have 2 hours to come get your peaches, and like they give you a window. and like you have to go get your peaches, and there's a big line, and they hand out your peach order and stuff, and you know the smallest peach order. Get it? Guess how many peaches are in the smallest peach order?
15.
42. So you got a box of 42 peaches. So you know, the girlfriend's dad was trying to figure out like, okay, well, I got 42 peaches. The guy told me not to eat them for 48 to 72 hours so they can ripen because they were frozen. But
Yep.
apparently they're supposed to be really good. So
They
I'll
are
get
good.
back to you on how good these peaches are. But we were talking about like, he's like, well, I got to find out, what dishes I can make with peaches. And I was like, what? You don't want to eat 6 peaches a day for a week? And it's a little much, right? So, they're talking about peach cobbler and
Mm,
all these peach desserts and stuff. I mentioned I was like, you
so
can
funny.
probably brew a peach beer,
Hmm.
maybe make a peach vodka. He was looking up recipes, dude. There was a recipe for a meatloaf with peach in it. I renamed it peach loaf, and I'm like, that sounds disgusting.
Fuck no. Absolutely the
No,
fuck
do you
not.
like peaches?
Yeah, I like peaches. They're straight.
I don't like peaches.
Why not?
Um,
Because I like
I
them.
just, yeah, pretty much. Anything you like, I don't like. Like that stupid flag behind you,
It's beautiful. Look at it.
dude. It's so stupid. That's the worst logo in the NFL, by the way. Why 3 stars? What is three like? It should have two beams, two steel beams, right? And like an animal in the middle.
An animal in the middle.
Yeah, like name your animal, like a monkey or something, or like no, what would be a better animal? What animal is in Pittsburgh,
Are you talking? I don't fucking know. I'm not from there. Mm.
dude?
Fuck it. We'll be the Pittsburgh Nittany Lions like they are in fucking college.
Yeah, Penn State, dude. Yeah, yeah. Put a Nittany lion in between two steel bars.
I was
That'll
gonna.
be a way better logo.
I was gonna say if you're talking about something that you can have a mascot for, we used to have a mascot, Steely McBeam, and he was and he
For
was
real?
yeah, Steely McBeam. Look him
Steely
up.
McBeam, look him up.
That's a real thing?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was a
he
steel
was a
worker, and
steel worker.
he was just carrying steel. I'm dead
Did he have a
serious.
hard hat on?
He had a hat on, yeah.
Okay.
He had
All
overall.
right,
I think he had
dig
over.
it. Is
I
he
think
Steely McBeal?
Steely McBeam, because he
McBeam.
was carrying on a
Ally
steel beam.
McBeal.
BEAM. He was carrying on a big steel beam.
Steely McBeam. Yeah, what, dude? So what they should have did, right, is had two steel beams going this way, right, like
Mm.
an X going this way, and Steely McBeam's head like in the middle of it, like it was like a giant pair of scissors, but it's steel beams cutting his head off. That would be a fucking sweet logo. Not that stupid 3 star. Oh, let's put the primary colors on here. Even though we're yellow and black, let's put a blue and red star on there too. Why is there a blue and red star? They're not blue or red.
Because it's pretty.
Yeah, because
Oh,
it's the primary colors. And they're like, yeah, we like primary colors around here.
speaking
I'm
of
5, and I like to mix blue and yellow and make green. Or whatever it makes. I
speaking
like to mix blue and red and make purple. I'm in art class. I'm a
of,
Steelers fan. I love Cordell Stewart.
uh, we will not stand for slash disrespect. Speaking of mascots, hold on. Did you see Dan Campbell's dead ass just wants a lion on the fucking sideline?
Oh, he's been wanting a lion since he started, dude.
This is
Like
fucking nut.
before, like when he was biting kneecaps and taking
Yeah,
names or whatever else,
I saw
he
it
was like, dude,
resurfaced a couple weeks ago.
he wanted a real live lion, and like, dude, like you're talking about a fan base that's never won anything, right? And we're like, okay, we just got rid of Fat Trisha, and we're and what's his name, Harley Quinn. We got rid of them motherfuckers, right? And we bring in this guy who's doing a fucking WrestleMania promo, we're gonna be, what you gonna do, brother, when we snap your kneecaps and you knock us down and we bite them off? Like, what you gonna do? Like, dude, he's doing a straight up wrestling promo. We're already like, dude, who the fuck is this guy, right? Fucking, he was on the 0-16 team as a tight end. We're like, great. And then he comes out with, yeah, I asked Sheila Ford if we could get a fucking lion.
It's like, yo,
Like,
what?
what? Come again? You want a fucking lion on the sideline on a leash or something? Like, what is it, Sigmund and Freud?
Cause,
Like,
cause like you can't have him in a cage. PETA will have none of it.
right, dude,
He
right,
he needs to have room to roam. Like, yeah, buddy, roam in the stands with these 80,000.
bro. Fucking Caleb Williams running down the sideline and the fucking line and just fucking rips them apart. Like,
You just
oh,
see, you
bringing
just
bringing the bag up. Who bring it?
you just see the lion fucking just stalking on the sideline.
Yeah, dude, like just ripping people to shreds. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, man,
I think I
does
saw
need a
like
new logo.
yeah, dude. I think like 2 weeks ago I resaw it. It was like Dan Campbell once again says he wants a real lion on the sideline, and I'm like, yeah, buddy, you fucking nut. I don't know how
Bro, it's
many. You know what? Carolina, let's get a fucking. Well, a Panther's not an actual thing.
Black Panther is
No, like an actual panther's not a thing.
an actual panther.
Yeah, a panther's not an actual thing. It's a black leopard.
Panthers are real, dude.
The name is real. The species is not.
You're a species that's not real. Panthers are real.
The name is real.
No, it's real.
I'm dead serious. The species of a panther is not real.
Yes, it is. I don't believe that. Let me chat GBT real
Also,
quick.
Google Steely McBeam while you're at it.
All right. Well, I'm chat GBTing. I don't know if chat GBT will know Steely McBeal or whatever.
Oh, he knows Steely
It's
McBeam.
is our panthers species? Or is there a panther species? I don't even know how to word this. Is there a panther species? All right. Yes, but the term panther can be a bit confusing. Black panther, um, Florida panther, a genus Pantheria. Yeah, dude, there's panthers. You lie.
Shut the fuck up. No, it's
You
not.
lie, dude.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
wait, I gotta look up Steely McBeamy.
Yeah, look at him. He's so cute.
Steely McBeam. Give me a picture. Oh, it said McNeil. Oh, that's not gonna come up with anything. All right, Steely McBeam logo.
Look at
Yeah,
him.
dude,
He's awesome. He's wearing overalls and a big hat.
he looks like you.
He's he's got the Giga Chad jawline.
Oh God, dude, that just made my day. Um,
Yeah, and this nut Dan Campbell wants a lion on the sidelines. Steely McBee would have beat the shit out of that lion with his
no,
with
no,
his steel beam.
Steely McBeam looks like a wuss. Who
He
would
looks
kick his ass is like everyone.
is
Everyone.
like everyone. Yo,
Is like everyone, dude.
do you remember a couple years ago it was going around the Carolina when they put out like that giant like on the jumbotron when they put like the panther like jumping on the stadium and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That shit was pretty dope.
Yeah, it was dope. Did the Steelers put like McBeam like building a stadium?
No, the building a
Ding,
stadium.
ding, ding, ding,
No,
ding, ding.
the closest we had to any like hype stuff on the jumbotron was whenever it was Heinz Field and we'd score and the giant fucking ketchup bottles would tip over onto the jumbotron to fill it up.
Why aren't you a Falcons fan?
I don't know. I mean,
You're not a dirty bird.
you're right. I'm not a dirty bird. when
Bird, bird. Jamal Anderson, baby.
yeah, in fucking in '99.
Andre Rison.
Yep.
Andre Rison got his house burned down by Left Eye.
What?
So do you know the female group TLC?
Yeah.
No scrubs, you know?
Oh,
I
gotcha.
don't scrubs.
Yep.
So TLC, you know, T-Boz, Left Eye, and Chili make up
Mhm.
TLC. And Left Eye, before she passed away, she was dating Andre Rison. Well, Left Eye was a little off the rocker and burned his fucking mansion down. And in in the 90s. And they got, obviously they got in some kind of argument and she lit a bunch of her shit on fire in the bathroom.
That's so
And
fucking funny.
half of his house fucking burned down and it was all over the news.
Maybe he called maybe maybe he called Brian Finneran to come help.
Right. Right.
That's so funny. I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
So why aren't you a Falcons fan?
Um, the biggest reasons why I'm a Steelers fan is because like when I first started getting into football, like one of the first games I watched was a Steelers game. I don't know, it's just something about the colors and the play style and like the defense was awesome and stuff like that. It was just rigid and I don't know, I just liked it.
Dude, they just always sucked. Like, how do you root for a team that's always sucked?
Coming from a Lions fan is insane.
Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. The last 3 years, we're fucking awesome. So
What about the 40
I'm
before?
not really sure what you're talking about. The last 60 years didn't fucking happen.
I was about to say the like what y'all could hold on to was Barry, and even he dipped after what was it, 7 years, 9 years,
And
10? You made the whole
yeah,
10?
9 or 10. 9 or 10.
That's longer than Calvin, right? I think Calvin lasted what, 9, 10?
Him and Calvin had like very similar
Yeah.
careers. But Barry, I mean, we made the playoffs 6 times in the 90s. People don't realize that.
Yeah.
And we just never, we only won one playoff game. But because the NFL used to be, or it kind of still is, but it really used to be, if you made the playoffs, you'd have a very heavy schedule next season. And then if you didn't make the playoffs, like, so it would be like every other year that we'd make the playoffs because we'd have a tough schedule and an easy schedule, tough schedule and an easy schedule. So,
Mhm.
it was basically every other year that we would get in.
Yeah, it's still so interesting to think about like all like the era in which NFL you grew up with. You'll remember like certain, whether it be plays, players, moments, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I saw the other day and I brought it up. Do you remember the 2015 wild card game between no,
I don't remember any.
you say you don't remember anything?
No.
Damn. It was the Aaron Rodgers against the Cardinals the second time, not the first time, the second time in like 2015 where he had like those two Hail Mary ass throws at the end of the game. They lost in
Yeah, but
overtime
they
anyways.
lost.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it,
The
it,
Arizona Cardinals are fucking awesome.
it
Who was the Cardinal? Because I just saw that highlight actually too. I think yesterday. Who
yeah, it
was
was
the
on Twitter.
quarterback for the Cardinals? Because it wasn't Kurt Warner.
It was Carson Palmer.
Was it? Okay. All right.
Yeah, Palmer was
I knew there was I knew it wasn't like Drew Stanton.
no, or Josh McCown.
Yeah. Or Josh Roldan.
Rosen.
Or
Rolden.
Rosen, whatever the fuck his name was. No, like so Arizona is one of my top teams, dude. Like
Yeah,
I've
it's just
always rooted
fun.
for like
Hmm.
like it's the Lions, Raiders, Cardinals. I know they all suck, but like,
I
you
got a
know.
I got a couple boys that are Cardinals fans, and I remember it was like the year before they got Rosen. We were watching a Cardinals game, and whoever their quarterback was, just it was the definition of like the statue quarterback. He would just take the snap, wouldn't like shuffle in the pocket, and all I remember like he took like his fourth sack of the half, and
It might have been Drew Stanton.
Proba fucking Lee, and my boy Benidrick stands up and just says, "Move! Just fucking move!" And he's just fucking screaming at the game, and I'm like,
You
"Yo,
have a boy named Benindrick?
yeah, Benidrick, yeah,
The fuck kind of name is that?
is a dope name."
Benindrick?
Yeah,
That's his first name?
Benedric, Benidrick.
Benindrick?
Yeah,
I never heard of Benindrick. Does he go by Benny?
he goes by Ned or Benny sometimes, but
Ned.
yeah, Ned.
Ned? Where does Ned come from?
Benedric. Benedric. Benedric.
I don't know about this, man.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a real person.
yeah. Shut up, Benedric, bro. If you see this,
Yeah.
you're dope.
No, just like you know, just like I could be like, oh yeah, my boy fucking Quackadoc. You're like that's not a real person. Oh,
Quackadoc is insane.
yeah, my boy fucking Quackadoc is a fucking huge Dolphins fan. Like, dude, you just made that whole fucking shit up. There's no person named Bedindrick.
You leave Benedric alone. He'll fuck you
You
up.
leave Quackadoc alone.
Fine. I'll leave your guy alone. You leave my guy alone.
Okay, at least my guy's real. Fucking making up names on this program, dude. What are you talking about? We only come with facts here at the Legends Clubhouse.
That is the only fact is that is 100% not true. We're here for shenanigans.
No, man. There's no way you have a friend named Bedendrick.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And
where's Bedendrick from?
Tennessee.
He's not from Tennessee. Dude, okay. Okay. So your friend, Benindrick, is from the exact place that I'm going in 2 days. Dude, you're such a fucking shithead liar. Like, seriously. Like, what was my friend's name? Quadakrock? Yeah, he's from Macon, Georgia. He just happens to be there. Yeah.
When I see your ass, we're gonna call Benidrick live on the show on Friday.
Yeah, then we'll make sure we fucking FaceTime Quandrock.
Hey,
you know,
listen, if if whatever his dumbass name is answers,
you're gonna be shocked when you're like, it's like ringing, and you're like, all right, man, when's this dude gonna answer? And he's just gonna pop out and be like, Quandrock here. And you're like, holy shit, I thought you didn't exist.
No one answers the phone like that.
He does.
Like, hold on.
Because you know why he does? Because so many people like you don't think he's real.
Like, if I get a phone, like, hold on, if I get a phone call, I don't answer. Lawson here? Like, yo, what the?
I know. Because people don't doubt that you're real. He's like, Quandrock here. You know, how can I Quandrock? How can I help you?
What the fuck is he in tech support?
No, man. He knows how to handle phone calls, dude.
He's just a handy guy.
Yeah, he's a professional.
Oh my god, this shit's too fucking funny. Like, yo, that's nobody's name.
Yes, it is.
Yo.
Bro.
Oh, speaking of funky names, did you see the Steelers sign somebody to their practice squad, and his name was like in the famous Key and Peele spit?
Yeah. I saw something like that. I didn't know like the context of it, but yeah.
He's from like the skit, like
that the all promo or the crazy name, whatever.
Yeah, that shit's so funny.
I was never a big fan of Key and Peele.
You weren't?
No.
They had some classics. I was gonna say because I wasn't like an avid Key and Peele watcher, but I'd see like like I've seen obviously like your popular clips like your Substitute Teachers and stuff like that. Like them shits were so funny.
Yeah, I grew up on Chappelle, dude. And
and it's
Chappelle was the hottest thing. Like in high, like I was in high school when Chappelle was out, right? So like, you know, it was like the hottest thing. Like every episode, dude, people would come and like pretty much recite the entire episode from the night before.
Right.
Always coming out new, and like they just never lived up to that. Like I was like, dude, Chappelle fucking is way better than this shit.
Yeah.
So like I just never was able to get into them. Or like I hate Amy Schumer. Like Amy Schumer had a show like that.
She gets my fucking nerves. I don't know, like
Rock hates her too, so we're all in the same boat.
It's so funny. Yeah, dude.
But yeah, man,
we kind of touched up on a lot today.
We did, man. There was, like I said, there was a pipe bomb. There was a game 7. There was hot ass weather. There was Steely McBeam taking beams away from everyone. We covered a lot, and we're gonna be back tomorrow Yes, we're gonna be back on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday. I'm going to be traveling down to Cashville, Tennessee. Um, and so we won't be able to do a show Wednesday. So we're moving it up for you guys for tomorrow on a Taco Tuesday, but on a Friday. Just kidding, it's on a Tuesday. We're not Lego moving it. So, um, by the way, Lego movie, banger movie.
I,
Um,
I I've never seen it, and I've heard it's really good. You never seen Lilo and
and
Stitch, bro? I don't want to hear it.
everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when you're living your dream.
Speaking of dreams, why not start your dream with a Nerfie?
Oh, dude, almost completely forgot I was about to wrap up the show without even a fucking nerfy, dude. I think I lost on Friday. Did you win on Friday? Probably not, because your picks always suck. Um,
Yeah, hop off my nuts, dude.
dude, that's not cool, bro. It's Pride Month, and
You know
I'm
what?
not.
You know what? You're right. It's Pride Month. If you want to hop on my nuts, feel free.
You're welcome to this month, if any month at all. Um, hmm. Do you have one?
For today,
Yes.
give me the Mariners and the Twins. There might not be any juice on it, however. It is Brian Wu for the Mariners. He has a 6-4 record, a 3.12 ERA, 78 Ks. It's kind of scary because Cal Raleigh has been going crazy over the past couple days. Hitting you know uh 2 home runs, or he hit 1 home run.
Home runs and
Say what?
5 home runs in 5 games.
Yeah,
He's got 31 on the year.
bro's on a crazy heater. Going against Bailey. His last name always tricks me out. Ober.
Ober.
Yeah, Ober.
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 Is he French?
Ober.
Oh.
Oh.
He
Oh.
has a
Does he like croissants and
cross
crepes?
crepes. Uh,
Crepes?
crepes.
It's a flat pancake. It's a crepe.
Yeah, it's a crepe. He has a 4-4 record that doesn't mean shit. In a 4.54 ERA with 62 Ks. Once again, it's kind of weird because Seattle's either they're fucking hot as shit or they're not. They're coming off a crazy series against the Cubs. My bad, I got the hiccups this morning. As it ends the show, very unprofessional.
Why are you never professional at all on the show? Like, goddamn, either you're yawning, you're hiccuping, you show up late, you're not awake, you
Oh,
cancel the show,
first of all,
you're eating breakfast, taking drinks. What are you doing, dude?
we gotta stay
You got a
hydrated.
flag behind you. Like, come on, dude. Grow up. Like, I'm so glad that one of us takes this fucking show serious, and it's me.
And it's me.
Anyway,
Give me your
um,
Nerfy.
so in honor of what was his name? Brian McSteele. Um, in honor of him, we're going with the team from the Steel City, the Pittsburgh Pirates, against the Milwaukee Brewers at 7:40 Eastern Time. Pittsburgh's got Braxton Ashcraft. I didn't say Ashcraft, or I didn't say Ashcrack. I said Ashcraft. He's 1-0 with a 1.54 ERA, 10 strikeouts. He is going against Chad Patrick, another right-handed pitcher. 3-7 record. Again, we don't give a fuck about records here because records don't matter. They're the most useless stat a pitcher can have. But he's got a 3.5 ERA and he's got 76 strikeouts in the year. So look for 2 immaculate innings from both these pitchers and a very easy nerfy cash in.
Really quick,
So,
before you wrap up the show, did you see the immaculate inning that Yamamoto got robbed of the other day?
did not.
Bro, he had an immaculate through 8 pitches, and the ninth one, he threw just a 4-seam right down the cock. Tatis didn't swing, and the ump called it a fucking the ump called it a ball. When I mean it wasn't like anything near the edges. It was borderline middle, and they just. I'll have to fucking send it
Perfect,
to you,
perfect.
bro. He literally just threw it right down the pisser, and Tatis was just sitting there, didn't swing, and the ump just robbed him. Like it was the most.
Froze up, dude. Froze up.
It's one of the
Oh,
most
real
egregious.
quick too.
Yeah.
Shout out to my nephew who threw a no hitter on Saturday.
Ooh.
He threw a no hitter on Saturday with 5 complete innings. They mercied him 9-0, so they only went 5. He had 8 Ks, 1 walk,
Yo.
no hitter.
Oh,
Um,
imagine if he would have thrown perfect without that walk.
I know, man. I know. But anyway, like I said, we are going to be live tomorrow. Normally, it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, 7:30 Eastern time. Check us out here live on the New Leaf News YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, like. If you have a topic that you would like Lawson and I to discuss or, go off the tangents on, let us know. We are here for the people, by the people. So, um, normally check us out Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. We will be back tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern time. If you can't catch us then, check us out on, we're gonna be posting the show anyway on YouTube. Watch it when it's convenient. Or, have your breakfast with us. Get those frosted flakes. Get those the pancakes and the waffles with no syrup. Syrup is gross. It makes your fingers sticky. It makes your mouth sticky. It's fucking nasty. I know I'm near Canada and they make a lot of maple. You don't need it. You just need some butter. Maybe if you want to put some fruit as a topping, be my guest. But enjoy your breakfast with us. Have a little glass of chocolate milk or some OJ. I mean, we just got past the anniversary of OJ's Bronco chase, man. Celebrate with some juice. Um, have some water. Lawson just did, and he interrupted the entire show by just taking a big swig of water in the middle of a sentence, and then we just had dead air. That's cool. Just ruin our show. It's all right. Um, but go to newleafnews.network.com. Both of them take you to the same great site. We have great daily content. We're getting a ton of views. We just hit 11,000 views as a website. We've only been around for 3 months. So we're growing by the day. We have a phenomenal writing team over there. 8 of the greatest writers you will ever come across are on our site, whether it's politics, entertainment, music, that's kind of entertainment, sports, betting, on this day, horoscopes, anything, pods, and more. You want a podcast? Check out 64-Bit Legends. We put new episodes on New Leaf News all the time under pods and more. Check them out at